So here's the question. As a real estate investor, how do you build a business that you're excited to show up to every day while you constantly grow your stream of passive income that you and your family can depend on for life without having to leave your computer or even live somewhere that houses are affordable? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. Welcome to the Virtual Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Brian Elwood.
Everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm on the way right now to get a haircut downtown Denver, and there's this place called the GQ Barber Lounge. If you're ever in Denver, you gotta try to need a haircut while you're here. Danny, if you're listening, I know you're coming to visit soon. Danny's my right-hand man. Don't cut your hair until you come see me. So this place, really cool. It's a men's only barbershop, but it's more of a lounge. They've got leather couches, magazines, cool music playing. You walk in and they ask you if you want a beer or a whiskey drink. You can get 2, 3, 4 drinks if you're feeling crazy. They don't even care. Like the lady that cuts your hair, massages your shoulders and gives you a really good scalp massage, puts a hot towel on your face while you're getting your hair washed, does a straight edge shave on the back of your neck. It's really an awesome experience. And yeah, it's expensive. It's maybe $60 or something like that plus tip, but it's worth it. It's a really good haircut and it's kind of a relaxing experience. I think it's worth it. If you're still going to Supercuts so that you only have to spend $10, you might want to consider upping your budget a little bit, because the price of the haircut does affect the quality of the haircut. I can tell you that much for sure. So on the last episode, I talked about what niche made us over $600,000 a year for 4 years running. If you missed last episode, go back, listen to that one real quick, and then this one will make a lot more sense. Because once you have picked the niche that you're going to go after like we did, there's more criteria you need to define in order to laser in on what you want. So stepping back for a second, the big epiphany that I kind of had when it came to finding deals in real estate is that, because, and I'll step back one step further, because so many people complain that they can't find deals, right? There's never enough deals. Finding deals always seems to be the big problem that people have. But the weird part is that there's people out there buying deals all the time, and there's tons of deals for sale from a variety of sources. And there's dilapidated houses that need to be bought. There's just stuff going on. Right now, in 2017, it's definitely more competitive than it was in 2012 by far. But there's still a lot of deals out there to be had. So speaking now to that kind of mindset that it's hard to find deals and it's competitive and blah, blah, blah. What I realized is that there is not actually a shortage of opportunities to buy real estate. The real shortage is in our time to properly analyze and inspect and make real offers on the right deals for us. So what most investors do is they see so many deals being offered for sale, and they kind of assume, man, so many people are seeing this deal that the price is going to get driven up. It's going to be super competitive. It's not even worth making an offer. And so they'll kind of sit back and they won't even act at all on anything that's going on. But in reality, you have to make offers in order to get deals. I told a realtor to list one of my properties recently because it was, originally in a rough area, and it got a lot nicer and it went up in value 4 times what we paid for it. And I felt like it was time to sell and take that equity out. And he was about to list it, and he happened to run it by some builders at the local RIA meeting that night. And one of the builders went ahead and made a real offer on the property right then and there and got the deal. I accepted his offer, and we didn't ever list it because he offered pretty much close to what I was going to list it for, and I was going to save a lot of money on commissions by taking his offer and not actually going the route of listing it. So making offers is key in order to get deals. But how do you bring sort of sanity to this whole plethora of deals that are out there that you could make offers on? There's way too many. If you were writing offers on everything that was listed for sale, you would be writing offers all day long and you would still never get to everything, and most of them would be a big waste of your time. So, and I talk about this in the very first video of my lead boost training. It's that defining your criteria of what you want up front is a really powerful thing to do, because it limits the amount of stuff that you actually see. It's like you're taking everything that's out there floating around in the world of real estate and you're putting it into a funnel, and only the stuff that fits your criteria pops out at the end. In the beginning, our lists were so messed up, we were sending direct mail to churches and hospitals and universities and gas stations and dry cleaners and stuff that wasn't even a residential property. I mean, I don't know what we were doing. It was like the exact opposite of what I'm talking about now. And so, that's sort of why what led us to this kind of aha moment to define our criteria and just focus on obviously residential, but even more so absentee sellers. And so to kind of get to the point of this episode, because I could go off in a million different directions here, but I want some concrete takeaways for you guys. Additional criteria to figure out and define, along with what type of property you're going to go after. Maybe it's absentee sellers, maybe it's single family, maybe it's multifamily. Beyond that, you have to figure out what zip codes you do and do not want properties in. So yes, you have to say, I do not want deals in these zip codes. And if something comes along, you can't get shiny object syndrome. You have to say, no, I already decided I wasn't going to focus on that zip. I'll pass. So you define your zip codes. Like right now, out of probably 100 zip codes in our target area, we probably only go after 16 or 17 of them. And it's really nice because, we don't have to look at everything. We can only look at 15% of the stuff that's out there. To go further, what year built do you want your properties to be? If you're buying single family houses, you probably shouldn't be buying stuff that's 100 years old or older, unless it's made of brick. Stuff that's built frame, that's old. Some of those walls are just paper thin. We looked at a house the other day that didn't even have a foundation, a proper foundation. It was just literally on bricks, stacks of bricks. I mean, so eliminating houses that are super old can be helpful. And you also might want to eliminate houses that are super new, because those are often not a good deal. I closed on a house yesterday that was built in 1999. It was a 0 lot line, meaning they had a shared wall. Paid like $63,000 for it, right near Middle Tennessee State University. And that was a good deal. They had equity in it and whatnot. But normally newer houses do not, you can't get them for that cheap. So I would probably exclude anything 1985 or newer, because again, we're trying to zero in on what we want. So don't take my criteria as your criteria necessarily. I'm just kind of telling you what we do generally. So beyond year built, it would be square footage. What size house do you want? Super small houses, not good. Super big houses, also not good. We don't buy anything below probably 550 square feet or anything above maybe 1,700 square feet. So there's a sweet spot in there. How many bedrooms do you want? We don't do 1 bedrooms. 2 or 3 bedrooms is what we go after. 3s are better than 2s. So we should probably narrow it down even more and just go after 3 bedrooms. What else? How about appraised value? If you limit your criteria by the appraised value, and this is more for when you're pulling your direct mail lists and things, you're going to eliminate houses that are too cheap or too expensive. Do you really want to market to houses that are appraised for $10,000? Probably not. What about over $200,000? Probably not. So again, you're eliminating crap that should not be part of what you are targeting. So some of this criteria you'll actually use to do active marketing, and some of it you will use to filter out stuff that maybe a wholesaler or a realtor will bring you. And some of the criteria you use for both. It's just great to have this on paper because it's so useful from then on. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that you really need to use. I think that's about it. There's probably a couple of other things. Like you could go a little deeper and start talking about certain neighborhoods within zip codes that you don't want. You obviously don't want a house that's in a flood zone or on a busy street, or a house that, sorry, somebody just turned down a one-way and completely threw me off. Houses that, you know, are right next to a power grid or anything crazy like that, by power lines. So we call those X factors, and they, you know, can definitely throw off a deal. We looked at a house a month ago or so that had an old shed on the property where the roof was falling in, and that's usually not a huge deal. We could have either fixed the roof and allowed it to be storage space for the tenant, or tore the whole shed down. But when our inspector went inside the shed, he couldn't go in the shed because there was actually a sinkhole inside of the building. A literal sinkhole, a small sinkhole, but a sinkhole nonetheless. And as soon as I found out there was a sinkhole anywhere on the property, I said, we're not buying this thing. So it cost me $300, you know, for the inspector to go over there. But I probably saved a lot more by identifying that. So you don't want to buy properties that have like crazy stuff. But again, you know, sometimes you won't figure out some of the crazy X factor things until you go over there and look at it. The stuff I previously mentioned is more for the high level filtering out. So people start to send you deals. You say, look, I only buy deals in these zip codes, this square footage, this bed bath combination, this year built, and whatnot. And people start to learn what you want, and they think of you when they get something that fits your criteria because you've mentioned to them so many times. So it's better to plant your flag as, you know, I'm a buyer of X type of property. If you say I'll buy anything, then no one's going to remember you. You're not going to be memorable when a deal comes up. It's really an extension of the same logic of niching yourself in any business so that you stand out. Like, you shouldn't be a financial advisor for anyone. You should be a financial advisor for, say, dentists or something like that. Specialize. You stand out and people will remember you. That's a lesson for a whole nother episode, but the same philosophy is at play here when you decide what types of properties you do and don't want, and you let people know that, and you put that into your marketing efforts. You will save a ton of money by defining your criteria and cutting out the crap that you don't want, and a ton of time not looking at deals that are never going to be a deal for you anyways. So I hope that helps, guys, when it comes to marketing. I really wish I would have known that from the very beginning. I would have saved a lot of time and money and a lot of headaches by just going after what I want. The power in doing this is, it's like you originally had a flashlight beam, where all of your energy is kind of spread out thin, and you're taking that and you're changing it to a laser beam, which, as you know, light when focused can become a laser. It can literally cut through metal because it's so powerful. So with everything you do, you have to get more and more focused. Focus makes you rich, and focus lives in everything that you do, every little thing, including real estate marketing. Focus is how you get rich, guys. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, go and leave me a review, or just give me feedback. Even if you don't like it, it doesn't matter. That'll help me make the podcast better. But reviews are helpful. So go to iTunes, leave a review, and I'll see you on the next one. Till then, take care. Bye.
Want more? Get your free copy of Brian's book that is changing real estate businesses everywhere. Just go to www.fireyourself.net. Also, register for your free virtual real estate investing online masterclass at virtualinvestingclass.com.